My dear friends, imagine sitting across from someone who has witnessed more than a century of human history, someone who has dedicated their entire life to healing others and understanding what it truly means to live well. Today, I want to share with you the profound wisdom of Dr. Margaret Chen, a remarkable woman who celebrated her 102nd birthday just last month, and whose insights about life, health, and happiness have touched thousands of lives throughout her extraordinary career. Dr. Chen began practicing medicine in 1947, and what she has learned about living a fulfilling life will surprise, inspire, and perhaps even transform how you think about your own golden years. You see, Dr. Chen didn't just treat patients for over 7 decades, she studied them, learned from them, and discovered patterns that most of us never notice about what separates those who thrive in their later years from those who merely survive. Her first piece of advice might shock you because it goes against everything our modern world tells us about aging. She says that the secret to a long, vibrant life isn't found in expensive supplements, trendy diets, or even the latest medical breakthroughs, though she certainly believes in good healthcare. Instead, Dr. Chen discovered that the people who lived the longest and happiest lives all shared one surprising characteristic that had nothing to do with their genetics, their wealth, or even their physical health when they were younger. They all maintained what she calls purposeful curiosity well into their 80s, 90s, and beyond. These individuals never stopped learning, never stopped asking questions, and never stopped believing that tomorrow might bring something wonderful and new. Dr. Chen herself embodies this principle perfectly. At 102, she still reads medical journals every morning, has learned to use a tablet to video chat with her great-grandchildren, and just last year, she started taking piano lessons because, as she puts it, "I've always wondered what it would feel like to make music flow from my fingertips." But her wisdom extends far beyond the importance of staying curious. Dr. Chen has observed that many people, particularly as they enter their senior years, begin to focus intensely on what they've lost, rather than appreciating what they still have. And this shift in perspective, she believes, is one of the most damaging things we can do to our overall well-being. She tells the story of 2 patients she treated in the 1980s, both in their 70s, both diagnosed with similar health conditions. One patient spent every appointment listing his ailments, complaining about his limitations, and expressing frustration about how different his life had become. The other patient, remarkably, would arrive at each appointment with stories about small joys he had discovered, new friendships he had made, or simple pleasures he had noticed, like the way morning light fell across his kitchen table or how his neighbor's cat had started visiting his garden. Both men lived for many more years, but their quality of life was dramatically different, and Dr. Chen realized that their attitudes had shaped not just their emotional well-being, but their physical health outcomes as well. This observation led her to develop what she calls the Daily 3 practice, which she has recommended to patients and friends for over 30 years. Every evening before bed, she suggests writing down 3 specific things that brought you joy, comfort, or satisfaction that day. But here's the crucial part. They cannot be big, life-changing events. Instead, they must be small, everyday moments that you might otherwise overlook. Perhaps it was the smile from a cashier at the grocery store, the feeling of warm sunshine on your face during a brief walk, the taste of your morning coffee, a phone call from an old friend, or simply the satisfaction of completing a crossword puzzle. Dr. Chen explains that this practice literally rewires your brain to notice positive experiences, and over time, you begin to see your days as filled with small gifts rather than minor disappointments. She has personally practiced this for over 40 years, and even now at 102, she can tell you about the 3 small joys from yesterday. Watching a cardinal build its nest outside her window, receiving a handwritten thank you note from a former patient's granddaughter, and successfully helping her neighbor troubleshoot a problem with her television remote. But Dr. Chen's advice goes deeper than positive thinking. She has witnessed firsthand how social connections literally extend life, and she has strong opinions about the way many seniors approach relationships. She believes that one of the greatest mistakes older adults make is becoming too passive in their friendships and family relationships. Instead of waiting for others to call, visit, or reach out, she encourages what she calls generous initiation, which means taking the first step to connect with others even when it feels vulnerable or uncertain. She explains that many people, especially as they age, begin to worry about being a burden or bothering others, so they wait for invitations that may never come. Meanwhile, the people they're hoping to hear from may be having the exact same concerns, creating a cycle where everyone is waiting and no one is reaching out. Dr. Chen suggests that we should assume people want to hear from us and act accordingly. She makes it a point to send at least one unexpected note, make one surprise phone call, or offer one small act of service each week. Sometimes it's as simple as texting a grandchild to ask about their day, bringing homemade cookies to a neighbor, or calling an old colleague just to say she was thinking of them. She has found that these small gestures not only strengthen her relationships, but also give her a sense of purpose and connection that she believes is essential for mental and physical health. Her approach to physical health is equally thoughtful and practical. Dr. Chen has seen countless patients over the years who became obsessed with major lifestyle overhauls that they couldn't sustain, and she has developed a philosophy of gentle consistency that she believes is far more effective than dramatic changes. Rather than recommending intense exercise routines or strict diets, she focuses on tiny daily habits that compound over time. For example, if you're not currently active, don't commit to hour-long gym sessions that you'll eventually skip. Instead, commit to walking to the end of your driveway and back every day after lunch. Once that becomes effortless and automatic, gradually extend the distance. She applies the same principle to nutrition, recommending that people add one healthy element to their day rather than eliminating everything they enjoy. Perhaps it's drinking one extra glass of water, eating one piece of fruit, or taking a few minutes to eat breakfast sitting down rather than standing at the counter. These micro-improvements, she insists, are far more sustainable and ultimately more transformative than dramatic changes that create stress and guilt when we inevitably fall short. Dr. Chen also has fascinating insights about the relationship between mental stimulation and longevity. She has observed that people who remain intellectually engaged throughout their lives seem to maintain their cognitive abilities longer and report higher levels of life satisfaction. But she makes an important distinction between passive entertainment and active engagement. While she doesn't discourage watching television or enjoying leisure activities, she strongly recommends that everyone maintain at least one pursuit that challenges their mind in a meaningful way. This could be learning a new skill, taking a class, joining a book club, volunteering for an organization that requires problem solving, or even engaging in complex hobbies like gardening, woodworking, or genealogy research. The key, she explains, is that the activity should require you to learn, adapt, and grow rather than simply consume information or repeat familiar patterns. She credits her own longevity partly to the fact that medicine constantly required her to stay current with new research, technologies, and treatment approaches, forcing her brain to remain flexible and adaptive throughout her career. One of Dr. Chen's most powerful observations concerns how people handle adversity and setbacks. She has noticed that individuals who age successfully tend to view challenges as temporary situations to navigate rather than permanent conditions that define them. When faced with health problems, financial difficulties, or personal losses, these resilient individuals focus on adaptation and problem solving rather than dwelling on unfairness or comparing their current situation to how things used to be. She tells the story of a patient who lost his vision in his 80s and initially became deeply depressed, convinced that his life was effectively over. Dr. Chen worked with him to gradually shift his focus from what he could no longer do to discovering new ways to engage with the world. He learned to identify birds by their songs, developed a more sophisticated appreciation for music, strengthened his relationships through deeper conversations, and eventually became a volunteer reader for audiobooks, bringing joy to countless others while finding new purpose for himself. Dr. Chen emphasizes that this transformation didn't happen overnight and required both practical support and a willingness to reimagine what a meaningful life could look like. But the key was his eventual decision to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Her perspective on worry and anxiety is particularly valuable for seniors who often face increased concerns about health, finances, and the future. Dr. Chen distinguishes between productive concern, which motivates helpful action, and unproductive worry, which simply creates stress without leading to solutions. She recommends what she calls the worry appointment technique, where you designate a specific 15-minute period each day to think through your concerns, write them down, and identify any concrete steps you can take to address them. Outside of that designated time, when worries arise, you remind yourself that you have an appointment to deal with them later and redirect your attention to the present moment. This approach, she explains, prevents anxiety from consuming your entire day while still acknowledging that some concerns deserve attention and action. Dr. Chen has also developed thoughtful strategies for dealing with one of the most challenging
aspects of aging: watching friends and family members face serious illness or pass away. She believes that many people make the mistake of avoiding these difficult situations because they don't know what to say or do. But she has learned that presence is often more important than words. She makes it a priority to show up for people during difficult times, even when it's uncomfortable or sad. Sometimes this means sitting quietly with someone who is grieving, helping with practical tasks like grocery shopping or transportation, or simply maintaining normal social contact when others might pull away out of awkwardness or fear. She has found that being willing to engage with life's difficulties, rather than avoiding them, has actually made her more resilient and has deepened her relationships in meaningful ways. Her approach to legacy and meaning is equally thoughtful. Dr. Chen believes that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, has wisdom, experiences, and stories that deserve to be preserved and shared. She encourages seniors to find ways to pass along what they've learned, whether through formal mentoring, sharing family history with younger generations, volunteering their skills and knowledge, or simply being intentional about the conversations they have with others. She points out that many older adults underestimate the value of their experiences and assume that younger people aren't interested in their stories or advice, but she has found the opposite to be true. People of all ages are hungry for wisdom, guidance, and connection with those who have navigated life's challenges successfully. Dr. Chen suggests that sharing your knowledge and experiences isn't just a gift to others. It's also a powerful way to find continued purpose and meaning in your own life. Financial wisdom is another area where Dr. Chen's long perspective provides valuable insights. Having lived through the Great Depression, multiple recessions, periods of inflation, and dramatic social changes, she has developed a balanced approach to money that emphasizes security without sacrificing enjoyment. She believes that many seniors make the mistake of being either too conservative with their resources, depriving themselves of experiences and comforts they've earned, or too anxious about money, allowing financial worries to dominate their thoughts and decisions. Her philosophy is to maintain enough savings for security and unexpected expenses, but also to be generous with yourself and others while you're able to enjoy it. She points out that you can't take money with you, but you can create memories, experiences, and positive impacts that will outlast your lifetime. Dr. Chen also emphasizes the importance of having honest conversations with family members about your wishes, values, and plans, both to reduce their future burden and to ensure that your resources are used in ways that align with your values. Perhaps most remarkably, Dr. Chen maintains an optimistic outlook about aging itself, viewing it not as a period of decline, but as a unique life stage with its own opportunities and gifts. She acknowledges that aging brings real challenges and losses, but she also points out benefits that are often overlooked. The freedom that comes from caring less about others' opinions, the deep satisfaction of watching younger generations grow and succeed, the perspective that comes from having lived through many different phases of life, and the opportunity to focus on what truly matters rather than getting caught up in trivial concerns. She describes her current decade as one of the most peaceful and content periods of her life, partly because she no longer feels pressure to achieve external markers of success and can instead focus on relationships, simple pleasures, and contributing to others' well-being in whatever ways she can. Dr. Chen's final piece of advice ties together all of her observations about successful aging. She believes that the secret to a fulfilling later life is to remain actively engaged with the world while also accepting the natural changes that come with time. This means staying curious, maintaining relationships, pursuing meaningful activities, taking care of your health, and contributing to your community, while also practicing self-compassion, adapting to new limitations, and finding peace with the passage of time. She suggests that the people who struggle most with aging are often those who spend their energy fighting against natural changes, rather than learning to work with them creatively and gracefully. At 102, Dr. Chen continues to embody her own advice, approaching each day with curiosity, gratitude, and purpose, while also accepting that her energy and abilities are different than they were at 70, 50, or 30. Her life serves as a powerful example that aging doesn't have to mean diminishment or decline, but can instead represent a continuation of growth, contribution, and joy in new forms. As she puts it, every stage of life has its own seasons and its own gifts, and the secret is learning to recognize and appreciate the unique beauty of wherever you are right now, while also remaining open to whatever wonderful surprises tomorrow might bring.